It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on episode 3 of the Empty Theater web series. I am Brody, and today I'll be talking about Furious 7, which has left April's box office records in its taillights. Now, I will be discussing plot points from the previous 6 films that tie directly to Furious 7, so if you aren't completely caught up because you haven't had time since I made that plea to watch the Fast and the Furious franchise in episode 2, here's your spoiler alert to turn back now if you don't want to be completely spoiled on Furious 7 and some of those plot points from the previous films.
Just when you didn't think it could get any better, huh? Woo! Now we're moving.
Now, just so we're clear on the timeline, the events of Tokyo Drift actually take place after Fast and Furious 6, which is why the character of Han is in parts 4 through 6. And we're given that big reveal in Fast and Furious 6's mid-credit sequence where Han is killed by Jason Statham, which is just a retconning of the scene from Tokyo Drift.
Dominic Toretto. You don't know me. You're about to.
Furious 7 continues the franchise's fascinating trend of not only getting better as it progresses, but also tying up threads from previous films while simultaneously setting up new ones. The films have no real reason to have such dedication to narrative arcs and character development, but their willingness to up their game and reward fans is exactly why the franchise has endured with such favoritism from fans and critics.
My official answer to you is stand down.
Now you know I can't do that.
I do know you, Dom, which is why now I give you the brother-to-brother answer. You do whatever it is you gotta do. When you find that sumbitch, just do me one favor.
What's that?
Don't miss.
They even upped the ante as far as the cast goes. We've got returning familiar faces, of course, in Vin Diesel, the late Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese, Ludacris, Jordana Brewster, Elsa Pataki, and The Rock. But now they've also added the aforementioned Statham, Oscar nominee Djimon Hounsou, the legendary Kurt Russell, Thai martial artist Tony Jaa making his English language debut, Game of Thrones' Nathalie Emmanuel, and UFC phenom Ronda Rousey. This cast of heavy hitters makes for epic fight sequence matchups that rival the car stunts. We've got Statham versus The Rock, Statham versus Diesel, Walker and Jaa, Rodriguez and Rousey.
These parties bore me to death.
But the flow of the film is never interrupted for a fight. They were worked into the plot and, to the editor's credit, spliced in with other action, so we're never taken out of the story in order to marvel at these great fight sequences, which were all beautifully shot and beautifully choreographed. Longtime Fast and Furious director Justin Lin dropped out because Universal Studios wanted to go into production while he was still finishing Part 6. So they brought in James Wan, who up until that point had been making some highly successful horror films in Saw, Insidious, and The Conjuring. Wan faced production delays following the tragic death of star Paul Walker in an unrelated car crash. Now, that changing of the guard from Lin to Wan did initially give me some pause as to how Furious 7 would turn out, but it became the best film of the franchise. Wan was able to take the ball and run right into the end zone with it. Now, in episode 2, I did plead with you to give the whole franchise a shot, as it's actually much better than it's given credit for. And I'll make the same case for Furious 7. It's a highly entertaining film. You'll go to it in the theater and you won't feel like you wasted $10 in 2 hours as you're walking out. You'll be glad you watched it. The film holds the memory of Paul Walker in the highest regard, with a beautiful tribute at the very end that doesn't feel tacked on or contrived. I'm not going to post it here or add it onto this video because I think it would be disrespectful for me to try and glom onto that. But Vin Diesel has posted it on his Facebook and YouTube, all over social media, so you can find it there. But Furious 7 is definitely a film that you need to go see in theaters. It's a must-see. This has been The Empty Theater. I'm Brody. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
when I see you again.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on the Empty Theater web series. You can follow me on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Both those links are down in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode, and be excellent to each other.